What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be going over technique number 1 of the world record jump program. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, look at me now, I came up. I've been thinking back then when I almost gave up on the game because I never got in my way. Never got my mama whip on the driveway.
All right, technique number 1 is full glute hyperextension. Now, the glutes are responsible for bringing the hips into a straight line or even further than a straight line. Now, the best jumpers of the world get full glute hyperextension. What does that mean? That means that the hyperextension means that the glutes are fully engaged at the top and there's actually a slight bow in the body, thus the term hyperextension rather than just extension. Hyperextension is when we go past 180 degrees, and that's what the glutes are responsible for. The glutes connect right here and here. So when we come in, the glutes are fully contracted right here at the top. That's how we know that we're getting the maximal glute contraction and the max power that we can derive from the glutes in our jump. So our jump should actually look like that. Now, I'm going to give you a good rep and a bad rep. The good rep on a jump, I'm going to show you a side profile, and I want you to focus on the bow in my body. I really brought the glutes through on that one, bringing the glutes through using all of the glutes power. Now, here's what I see a lot. This is a bad rep now. This is where a person isn't getting full glute hyperextension on their jump, thus leaving inches on their vertical on the table. You could really see in that video that the glutes weren't fully fired and that there's a lot left on the table. Just getting from here, glutes aren't really engaged, but once you bring the glutes all the way through, that's extra power right there. That's going to add to inches on your vertical. So that's one of the first leaks I like to plug up on somebody's vertical. All right, as for drills that we can do to redevelop that habit, we can get down. We're going to bring our glutes back, arms back as if we're jumping, and then we're going to fire and stand nice and tall, making sure our glutes are rock solid at the top, get a maximal contraction, bringing my hips like I'm trying to get my hips to touch the opposite wall, to touch that wall over there. I'm trying to bring my glutes all the way through and get my hips to lead. My hips are leading right there. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the hip flexors. You'll notice if your hip flexors are tight, because you'll feel that insane stretch right there. My hip flexors are a little tight, so are my quads, so I feel that stretch right there. So it might also be good to make sure that you have mobile hip flexors before you attempt explosively bringing the glutes through. Right now, I recommend 10 reps going medium speed. Right there, just focusing on the actual glute contraction. It feels like I'm doing a hip thrust or a glute bridge in midair. We'll get to that later. 10 reps of that, and then I'll go fast, where I'm going back slow and then explosively bringing the hips through. And I'll get 10 reps doing it that way, bringing the hips through. Same time, bringing the arms through. Right here, bringing the arms through. Good, and then I'll get 10 reps of max speed down and up. Down, up, down, up. Down and up. Woo. 10 reps of that. Now, another drill or exercise that we use in the world record jump program are hip thrusts and glute bridges. Glute bridges are the starter form, and then to progress to hip thrusts, we need to develop a certain level of strength and glute contraction. We want that mind-muscle connection, the neuromuscular connection between our mind and the glutes. When we do a pattern such as a hinge or a squat, we want to also have our glutes engaged. A lot of times when athletes start introducing hip thrusts and glute bridges into their strength program, when they sprint, they actually feel it more than they ever have in their glutes, as opposed to just feeling it in their quads and calves. That, at least for me, that was my first sign that, okay, I'm starting to develop that neuromuscular connection, and I can carry that over into my jump. So, remember, we've gone over hip thrusts before, but hip thrusts and glute bridges, I'm going to show you a glute bridge on the floor right here. This is another way to build that mind-muscle connection to allow you to get that technique number one, full glute hyperextension into our jump. Leading with the heels, and at the top, we're keeping our belly button low and our glutes very high. My glutes are rock solid at the top. And I'll start off, again, I'll do 10 reps, medium speed, 10 reps, slow down and explosive on the way up, and then 10 reps, down, up, down, up, down, up. Really fast, maximal down and up. Now, those drills light up the posterior chain because we need every muscle in the leg for our jumps. It's not just quads, or it's not just glutes, it's not just calves. They all work together. So when we do that pattern of hinging and squatting into our jumps, we need to make sure that we use the maximal amount of strength that each muscle has. And the glutes are one that is very, very, very underutilized in most athletes. So building that neuromuscular connection is key. And that's technique number one. I want you guys, just like I'm doing right now with the camera, I want you guys to set up your iPhone, your camera, and film yourself doing static jumps. Film yourself doing your running jump. See if you're getting that glute through, and if you're not, I want you to make an emphasis of bringing that glute all the way through. Those are some tips I have to start to understand technique number one and start to implement it in your jumps and implement it into your technique training days. Technique number one, full glute hyperextension. Thank you guys. Good luck.